welcome to our very first episode of One-on-One with Dr. Faith Brebnor. I am your host, Avin Thomas, and we have created this platform to help bridge the gap between the public and Dr. Faith. So, you get to see the inside of a day-to-day responsibilities, all the decisions you make, and the reasons behind it. So, for this first episode, we're going to start off by finding out who is Dr. Faith. So, welcome, Dr. Faith. How are you?
I am wonderful. It's really nice being able to have this kind of conversation with you and with the public because, every now and then people come up to me and they say, what happening with so-and-so?
Right.
And this is an opportunity for us to truly say to the public, this is what is really happening. Forget the old talk that all you're hearing. This is what is happening whether it's with the public servants or with the procurement or whatever it is. And this is an opportunity for us to really get a sense of what it takes to deliver the kind of service that we are trying to deliver for the people of Tobago. So I'm excited. I'm actually really excited about this.
Because I'm excited too, right? So, I notice when I speak to persons who live in the country, they always speak with this sense of pride and joy about living in the countryside. So tell us how it was for you growing up in Belle Garden. Tell us about your family, your community, and the values that shaped you.
Certainly. So growing up in Belle Garden it's a laid-back community, but a community that is filled with pride and joy. We have all of the best fish come from Belle Garden. I will say that Belle Garden Beach is the best beach on the island.
Right.
Fight me on that. Of course, we have our belly and the heritage that comes out of the island. And we can't forget Pan, with Eastside being right there, right next to my home right now. I'm excited about having grown up with that kind of culture. And of course, because it's a rural area, we spent a lot of time outside. We spent a lot of time, I remember, with my neighbor running up to her house and we are running down the hill and my parents looking out, wondering, hoping that we do not fall, or going up and getting lost in the bush and going and pick mango. There was a long mango tree up on top of the hill that we used to go to. That kind of stuff. So I am blessed to have grown up in that kind of community. My family is an extended one that included early days, my grandmother and my grandfather, both deceased at this point, my mom, my aunt, my uncles. For a very long time, I was the only child in the home. So that was, interesting being a child among all of these adults. And then my stepdad came a little later. But, I actually had to think back on the kind of messaging that I got as a child. And I am not sure whether it was my granny or my mom. I started listening to this particular song and, and yes, I am laughing because I am going to try to sing, but
all right.
No. I said try. Because I think this is a song that shaped who I am right now. And it is, I Am a Promise. And it goes, I am a promise, I am a possibility, I am a promise. With a capital P. I am a great big bundle of potentiality.
Wonderful.
And I think because of that kind of, speaking positivity over my life from even that point, that has allowed me to, even in a, current day where there are so many things that pop up all the time, I could always be positive. I could always know that I am a great big bundle of potentiality and I am listening to God's voice and I am hearing God's voice, and that is helping to ground me. So being in Belle Garden, being in a family like that, I think is what has gotten me to this point. And I'm excited to be able to share this with the world.
Right, I could see excitement. I mean, I could tell from the way you speak. I love it. And I think that is what is kind of missing from some of the families today, speaking positivity about kids. I think that's very, very important, right? So looking back at your childhood at school, your school days, tell us some of the challenges you had and like some of your proudest moments.
So school days were interesting. So I had the pleasure And I'll say pleasure because my mom is watching. I had the pleasure of going to school at 2 years old because my mom was a preschool teacher.
Okay.
And so I think while everybody else was waiting for 3 and 4 to go to school, I was in school at 2 with my mom and the other teachers there. And I think that also helped me. You know, we joke about the time when there was another staff member there. I think something happened and somebody hit me or something, like, you know, typical children playing kind of thing. And I went running to probably mommy, and mommy didn't do anything. And then I went running to another adult there, and the adult told me, hit them back. And I think that's probably what that fight that you see me now, that was from Miss Judith way back then, telling me, hit them back. Right. So so that was in like preschool. And then of course I went to the Belle Garden Anglican School after that. Following that, I went to Roxbury. And Belle Garden Anglican School was filled with, you know, brownie girl guys, those kinds of things that you have to be involved. And then off to Roxbury Secondary School, which was in and of itself was really an eye-opener for me. Because the year that I went to Roxbury was one of the years where we did zoning. What does that mean? It was way back when in common entrance days. And because I lived in Belle Garden, it didn't matter what your scores were. They sent you to the school that was closest to you. So I went to Roxbury Sec, and it was actually a decision that my family and I made, because it was go to a school that's 5 minutes away versus getting up and going to a school in town or something like that. That would mean you would have to get up much earlier and so forth. So we decided to go to the school. And my mom reminded me back then that, you know, the exam at the end of the 5 years, the CXC exam, the same exam they give to Roxbury Sec students, or the same exam they give to Signal Hill, to Bishops, to wherever. So you just have to put your best foot forward. You just have to follow the instructions. You just have to study, and you will make it. And I think our EA group is one that showed that, because I came out of Roxbury Sec, for example, with like 8 or 9 subjects, 1s and 2s. And it was the same set of teachers. So I actually encourage students now, even when I talk to the C classes just before they do the exam, I tell them, you know, try your best, do your best, go into the exam with your best, but it doesn't matter what school you end up in. You can make it going to that school as long as you are dedicated, as long as you do what you are supposed to do, and as long as your parents and your family and the entire community is there to support you, you do your best. So I think was critical in me being who I am now. Right,
and I see a lot of that happening when it comes to what school persons have to pass for. And I like what you said. You just have to position yourself correctly. And yes, the support of your family and so forth helps. So during those years, I mean, tell us, what were your hobbies? Do you had any role models? Like, give us a little insight.
So Roxbury Sec was again filled with a lot of activities. I was a cadet.
Let me pick it up.
Yes. I did cadet force. Again, probably part of the discipline that I am able to take to the latter part of my life, because you had to figure out how to get up and get dressed and follow the rules. And, you know, I remember actually one time there was we were doing drills in the yard, and somebody made a wrong turn, and what they had to do was sweep the yard with a toothbrush. Yes, sweep the yard with a toothbrush. And because you have to make right turns and not left turns, and the person made a left turn. So that is the kind of thing I grew up with. Of course, I also did, many people probably don't know, I did martial arts. As well. Yes, I did Shotokan karate. I got all the way up to black belt in martial arts. Again,
beware, people.
Well, not beware, because that was quite way back when. I have not done a single thing as it relates to martial arts in probably 10, 15, 20 years. But back then, you know, that helped with the discipline as well. And of course, I played pan. I played pan with Roxbury Sec, which then allowed me to play pan with Eastside as well. So, yeah, those were the formative years, as they say. Those were the areas that allowed me to have fun to know that you can do work and play at the same time, to have discipline, which is absolutely critical in the world today. And yeah.
Sounds good. No. You see, now people getting to see more of you, right? And I really love it. So tell us about your university days and about your THA scholarship.
Oh, okay. So let me just say, just so that the Signal Hill people don't vex me. Right. So after I left Roxborough Sec, I actually went to Signal Hill Secondary for sixth form, because Roxborough Sec did not have a sixth form class. So we went to Signal Hill for sixth form, and after that, I then went to the University of Pittsburgh for my undergrad. The undergrad was in neuroscience, which is the study of the brain and the nervous system. And I was blessed to actually get a scholarship from the Tobago House of Assembly to do that neuroscience, because I wanted to be a neurosurgeon. Yeah. So I actually left Tobago with this grandiose idea of being a neurosurgeon, because I remember one day, I heard on news reports that the one neurosurgeon in the country was going on holiday or something like that, and that be careful, because the one neurosurgeon in the country going on holidays. And I thought to myself, but that ain't making sense. That is wild, you know. So I want to do neurosurgery. So when I left Tobago, the aim was to become a neurosurgeon. I got to the University of Pittsburgh. Of course, the THA back then had even less resources than we have now. So even though I had that scholarship from the THA, the money used to come late. Yeah. The money used to come real late. So the entire University of Pittsburgh knew the name Faith Brebnor, because we used to have to beg them every single semester to allow me to register, because we owed the university. But we had a really good working relationship there, because they recognized that it was a community, a small community that was trying to educate one of its own, that the money would come. It would come late, but it would come. So we had to figure out how to maneuver doing that. So I tell people sometimes, because that did not work as efficiently as it should, I used to comb hair and I used to do African dances to make money.
Okay. No, so you was doing everything, because you're playing pan, you're singing, you did African dances, you're well-rounded. I mean, so looking back now, right? When was the moment that you felt like you decided to do not just your personal, but to now be more of have a public career?
So that is something that happened. I think several things happened with that. Several things happened. Part of the decision to go to medical school and to do neurosurgery as well also happened when I remember something happened with my eyes. I think I got hit in my eye or something. And I went up to the hospital, which was up the fort at the time. And when I got there, the doctor looked at my eyes. Well, to be honest, I don't even think the doctor watched my eye.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Came in, after waiting for a while, came in, I explained what happened. I really don't even think the doctor looked at my eye. Wrote a prescription, which of course I can't read. I don't know that anybody could actually read what is written in prescriptions. Said, go to the pharmacy. I went to the pharmacy. I sat. I said, you know what? This ain't making sense. You have a drugstore down the road. Let me take the script to go down to the drugstore. I got to the drugstore, handed them the prescription, and they gave it back to me. And while I'm handing it to them, I'm like, what is this? And the pharmacist said, oh, it's Tylenol. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, you're serious? I just spent a whole day up in the hospital waiting for the doctor. The doctor didn't even watch my eyes, gave me this prescription, and it's for Tylenol. And I thought to myself, nah, we need to do a little better. Our healthcare system needs to be a little better than that, and I think I should be a part of that. So that was what kind of pushed me as well to decide that I wanted to do neurosurgery, to go to med school in the first place, to figure out the neurosurgery part. But then when I actually got to the University of Pittsburgh, I had the pleasure of working closely with a professor there.
Okay.
He was kind of like my mentor while I was there. And he was a professor while he taught in the undergrad school. He was also part of the medical center, which was the med school part of the University of Pittsburgh. So I was able to shadow him. I was able to actually go in and actually view neurosurgery.
Right.
And be a part of being in the hospital system and understanding all of that, even while, making the decision. And then I realized I didn't want to do medicine. And that I didn't really like being around sick people. By the way, if you're a doctor, you need to be able to like being around sick people.
That is important.
That is critical. But the good thing is that because I worked closely with him, I was able to figure out what public health was.
Right.
And that public health was this concept of taking care of the community, while medicine takes care of the individual on that one-on-one basis. Public health allows us to look at a very holistic view of what is required to keep the community healthy and safe. So instead of, I had done the SATs already. I had applied to schools. I was actually just waiting to hear back to see which medical school I would go to. And then I kind of just decided I don't want to do medicine in the traditional way anymore. I could go ahead and I did my master's in public health, and then I did my doctoral degree in public health. So I have a doctor of public health, DRPH. And I figured that way, my mother would still be able to introduce her daughter as doctor. Which, by the way, she actually calls me doctor when she refers to me now. So I could still hit that, check that box. My mom would still be able to say her child is a doctor. But it's not a medical doctor, it's public health. So I think being able to have those experiences as well has helped me quite a bit.
Okay. So, for when you entered politics, right? What was the biggest change in your life?
So most people, when they hear me speak publicly and when they hear me cussing publicly, they probably don't realize that I'm actually an introvert.
All right.
Yeah, I am a true introvert where I prefer to be by myself. I prefer to be in a little corner where no one knows that I am there. I prefer to be invisible. Politics does not allow.
Don't allow that at all.
Politics does not allow that at all. So I think that was my biggest shift in my life. And I actually remember because, when we started, I spent quite a bit of time on the radio doing the politics thing and explaining what was happening and that kind of stuff. So I remember one day going to like a drugstore, some store I went into, and just standing in the line waiting casually to go pay for whatever the items were. And as soon as I said good morning or good afternoon to the cashier, everybody turned around. Dr. Faith! And I'm like, we know your voice. Oh my God, so nice to meet you and that kind of thing. So, and I was like, wow. This is wild. I can't believe that people actually now recognize me as a public figure just from my voice. So yeah, that was the biggest change. I am still struggling with it. At the end of very large public events, I still have to go home and decompress. Like I literally go in and lock myself down away from everybody and everything, because that is what it takes for me to be able to manage being an introvert in politics.
Okay. So how has politics changed how people treat you, like your friends, your family, your community?
So I think people expect me to be more of and I say politician, and I think people know what that means. People expect me to follow protocol here. people expect me to be, walk in a room with people behind me and that kind of thing. People expect me to do that, and that's just not my personality. I frequently am walking through Scarborough because I need to go get something, and somebody would meet me and say, "Oh, Dr. Fit, what are you doing walking through town?" And I'm thinking, how else am I supposed to get? honestly, how else am I supposed to go get the thing at the drugstore or the thing by the grocery or the piece of clothes that I'm looking to get? Exactly how else am I supposed to do that other than walking through town? And I actually remember one time somebody saying to me, "You don't have security?" And I'm like, I'm supposed to, no, I don't have security. What do you mean? That because this is Tobago,
Right.
We're fine. So I think people expect that, but that is just not me, and that's just not my personality. And it would be very difficult for me to transform into the typical politician.
So, outside of politics, outside of all of that, do you have any other interests, any other hobbies? And if you do, how do you balance that with a demanding career?
So, if you have been following me, you know that I love pan. Yes.
Right?
East Side. Champions. Years in a row. We're going into Tobago Panorama just now. Yeah. East Side. That has been a love of mine.
Right.
I don't have the time to play pan. But that's fine because in my house in the middle of the night when I am trying to sleep, they're playing right next to me. As a matter of fact, last year while they were practicing, it was earlier this year, while they were practicing for Panorama, something happened. They had stopped practicing, so everybody kind of went into reset mode. And then the arranger came back and said, we have to practice again. We have to go back. And at midnight, I got a call from the arranger. "Dr. Faith, you want to bring out the pans? You could come and move your car, please." Yeah. And guess what? I put on my clothes. I went and moved the car. I stood down there with them and lying down there listening to the pan for a couple hours. They went until 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. And that actually brings me real joy. The other thing that I do that is not politics is teaching.
Okay.
I've come from generations of teachers. My grandmother, my grand aunt, my mom, my other, all of the women around me have been teachers, I think. So I naturally am a teacher. And when I need to do almost like a hard reset, I figure out a space where I can go and deliver a lecture, do some kind of teaching, whether it's a sexual health class to one of the tertiary institutions or one of the trade schools or something like that, or one of the youth clubs. I ensure that I fit those in. So yeah, that is what I do to relax and to balance myself.
Right. Now you're making me so excited about this whole pan thing. Right?
Listen, Panorama coming up. We have the THA as part of our October Carnival. We've now implemented a panorama in Tobago. What used to be THA Pan Champs.
Right.
So we've actually implemented that. So the pan sides are coming again to do that. And of course, Panorama for National Panorama. We will be there. I will be in South. I will be in Port of Spain. I will be finding East Side. We will be doing what we have to do. And we're going to enjoy every second of it.
Okay, sounds good. And tell us, when you entered politics, right? So, for the first time, what was the biggest thing you had to change about your life?
I had to recognize that. Biggest thing I had to change. I had to recognize that even when I walk down the road to go by the bakery to buy a pastry, that could be a 10-minute conversation. And that could now be a public event. And that my time is no longer my time. So I think that was one of the biggest things I had to work out in my head, how to do it. Now, granted, I still go down the road in my home clothes and have people passing and watching me like my head ain't good, but I home. So yeah, I think that was one of the things that I had to. Oh, another thing that I had to figure out, honestly, is this idea of working with large groups of people and ensuring that everyone understands how what they do, as simple as it may be, how critical it is to the whole,
Right.
and being able to communicate that with them. So, you think, for example, in accounts, for example, all you have to do is check the vote books. But you checking the vote books will help us determine whether we actually have enough money to pay a grant.
Right.
Because
right.
that grant is for somebody to do a medical service, a medical procedure. So you checking the vote book and you checking the vote book on time and reporting that is actually saving somebody else's life. And being able to communicate that with people, I think, is one of the things I had to learn to do, instead of just getting frustrated and instead of just saying why they're not doing it, but figuring out how to have them understand that you are a part of the whole, and we all need to do our part. So being able to communicate that and figuring out the words that I need to say, or the actions that I need to take, or even trying to figure out what it will take for that officer to be comfortable so that they can do their job in a way that works for all of us.
Okay, so you have had several roles, right? Minority councillor, assemblyman, and now secretary and deputy chief secretary. How has that affected you emotionally, and how do you deal with your mental health when it comes to that?
Well, the roles require different things, very different things. Listen, minority councillor was fun. You know why it was fun? Because all you had to do was cuss. Listen, all you had to do every day was get up and decide what we cussing them about. That's all you had to do. Every day, whole day. Cuss. Which is why now when those on the minority do it, and it's just watch and laugh, because it's like, yeah, we used to do that too. Yeah, opposing for opposing sake kind of thing. That was actually fun. It was, let me be honest, it was fun. Having moved over to assemblyman though now, so the assemblyman role requires you to now be responsible for your community. The district that I am responsible for now is called Belle Garden, Glamorgan. Back then it was, I can't remember what it was now because EBC changed it up and so forth. But the district that I am responsible for now goes all the way from Goldsboro by the bridge. Even though the name is Belle Garden, Glamorgan, it goes all the way from Goldsboro by that main bridge there to Kendall Farm School Junction. So it's a very wide community. And being an assemblyman means that when those residents call on you, and the call is usually far and wide, it don't have water. Dr. Faith, call WASA because it don't have water. By the way, I have WASA on speed dial. As a matter of fact, there's a particular person in WASA that will just call on Sunday morning, Top Hill don't have water. What are we doing, Box Hill?
Right.
It could be that. It could be my child needs help getting into a primary school. How are we working that out? And we work it through together. It could really be, honestly, some of the times I get the calls, it is a little old lady from Pembroke, probably, coming to say, Dr. Faith, you came in my spirit last night. I come in to pray for you, where we could meet to pray. That is part of that role. And I actually really enjoy being able to provide the kinds of services that we provide for the population and helping them to troubleshoot. Because in some instances, I don't even need to act. I don't even really need to do anything. But it is us just sitting down, working through, this is who we could call, this is the letter we should write, this is the, whatever it is. Becoming secretary. So, when I became Secretary for Health, it was smack dab in the middle of COVID. And I think the month that I became Secretary, the following month is the month where we may have had the highest volumes of COVID deaths. Because it was in the middle of Omicron, which was the variant of COVID happening. And that was truly difficult because while we are all trying to survive, while we're all trying to go through this, I used to get up every single morning and there would be an email every single morning describing in detail the circumstance surrounding the death of the person or the people who died the day before.
Right.
And I would wake up, turn on the computer, read that report every morning. Now, that is important because we needed to figure out what was happening. We needed to figure out how we needed to improve the system. And we needed to ensure that even though we may not have been able to prevent the death of the person who died yesterday, we could switch up the system somehow and prevent somebody else from dying. So we had 7 a.m. meetings. That is where we instituted 7 a.m. meetings. My staff are very aware that if during the day we can't find time, the time goes up. I don't think I've ever had a 6 a.m. meeting. I have not ruled it out. But we start with those 7 a.m. meetings because I wanted to have conversations with the doctors, the nurses,
Right.
the people who do surveillance, all of those people to figure out what could we do differently. Thank God we were able to come out of that, and thank God we were able to maneuver ourselves out of that. You know, I still, as a secretary, I still remember those people because some of those were my friends, some of those were my family members. As a matter of fact, a lot of people don't know, I actually got COVID.
Oh, okay.
I actually got COVID during that
Right.
period. And I went through it. I did not get very, very sick. Thank God I had one of the best infectious disease doctors is on the island. That's Dr. Nathaniel Duke.
Okay.
So he had really just come back and was managing Roxborough Hospital, so it was right there. We were trying to set up to make sure Roxborough Hospital works. So he really worked very closely with me to ensure that I was able to go through that process and go through that period as well. And we were able to do everyththing like normal. I would be in bed, knock out sick, and then have to do a 7 a.m. meeting, get up, put on my makeup, do the meeting, do the interview, do everything, and then knock back out, go back to sleep. So I also understood how somebody was dealing with COVID, what the family had to deal with. And that also helped me to, shift some of the policies that we were working on, ensuring that we had more people doing the social support, ensuring that we had the social workers, for example, working out how to actually get the food to the patient's home because they can't come out and get it themselves, that kind of stuff. So working through all of that, and then Deputy Chief Secretary, listen, well, we all know one day we're going to talk about the bacchanal. One day we will listen, tune into future episodes. We're going to talk about the bacchanal that got me into the position of Deputy Chief Secretary. But that is also very interesting because, it means that I need to deputize on behalf of our great leader, Farley Chavez Augustine, and it is an honor being called on to do things on his behalf. So I enjoy that. Mental health, how? I just try to sleep. Listen, I would, a perfect weekend for me is one that includes 3 things: sleep, eat, and watching either Netflix or Nigerian movies. And I could do a full 48 hours of eat, sleep, Netflix, or Nigerian movies. That's
Don't get
how.
me wrong, I right there with you on the Nigerian movies. I right there with you on the Nigerian movies. So I can definitely understand that. And I mean, with such a demanding career, I can see why, you sleep on the Netflix.
We have to.
It's important.
And I think we have to figure out for all of us, whatever our days look like, figure out how to find that 5 minutes, that 10 minutes for yourself. I'll go back to one thing. While I was at school, while I was at university, there was a very good friend of mine she was also doing her doctoral degree. As a matter of fact, people assumed that when we were studying together that I was her assistant. They didn't realize I was doing my degree as well. And she was going through a pretty difficult time as well, with a family member being sick and so forth. And one of the things she said to me is that the way she survives it is because wife, mom, working, doctoral degree, all of it. She would literally go into the toilet and cry for 5 minutes, wipe her tears and come out, because the rest of the world still needed her to be her. And I think lessons like that as well, knowing that you needed to take time, even if it is literally the 5 minutes to go into the washroom to cry, to recenter yourself and come back out. Do it. Take the time, because this is what we need. Right. This is what the world needs.
Nice, good. So this is a bit spontaneous. So I have a little game for you.
Okay.
It's called This or That. Simple. Just straight off your mind, right? So.
Okay, I'm a little nervous now.
No, simple. This or that. You just choose which one, right? So are you a morning person or a night owl?
Night owl. I hate mornings. Like, with a passion, don't talk to me in the morning. Please, don't. Even though I'm the one who called in the 7 a.m. meeting. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Coffee, tea.
Oh, obviously. Coffee. That's
I cannot tell. I cannot tell that, right? Let me see. A day on the beach or hiking?
Oh, neither. Let me explain why. I am really afraid of hiking. I swear to God that I will be the only hiker in the world who goes up there and gets lost in the bushes and never found ever again. I don't like the feel of sand on my feet. So, neither.
Right.
We go find something else.
So tell me, last one. Cooking at home or dining out?
It depends. I think dining out, because I just don't have the time to cook. I really just don't have the time to cook. And everybody who knows me and loves me knows that part of your responsibility is feeding me. So going out and getting some good food out there, hint, hint, people.
Right.
Dining out.
Okay, so what's the one thing that you want persons to take away from this?
I think that we as in the administration, we got into politics because we recognized that politics was the avenue to making Tobago great.
Right.
Yeah? And we are baffled sometimes when we recognize what the other things that politics entails. But because we got into it with that true, genuine rationale or reasoning, I want people to honestly realize that the decisions that we make are because we truly love Tobago.
Right.
And we want to see Tobago become great, and everything works out because of that.
Right. So I think this is really, really good. I mean, getting a real insight, of the how, the why behind the scenes. I think this is really good, and I am so proud to be the host. And so the public can see and know what's going on. So thank you so much for your time.
Pleasure, my pleasure being here. This is wonderful. Thank you for agreeing to be the host.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
So this is our first episode of the One-on-One with Dr. Faith Brebnor. I am your host, Avin Thomas, and we hope you really enjoyed it, and we look forward to seeing you soon again for our next episode. Bye.
Bye.
One-on-one with Dr. Faith, you understand that people need you. Don't let anyone tie up your head. From Tobago, born and bred. When storm come down and the pressure rise, she keep focused with the truth in she eyes. No sweet talk, just the real enterprise. Show all the budget and plans get prioritized. She tell the youth push through, don't fear, work hard, keep clean, your chance soon near. From village life to executive chair, Dr. Faith success does come from care. One on one with Dr.